My dearest brothers and sisters. This is Hakann speaking. It is my pleasure to answer some more questions. Some of these questions are from a while ago. Thank you for your patience. Should you feel annoyed that this answer was late, then I understand and honor that. The channeler is doing the best he can.
Question: I would like to know very much about the planned financial reset. In short, supposedly there will be an erasure of bank data and then there will be imposed class system for almost all humans. Class system will be as follows: restricted, quarantined, common and sovereign. Each class will have max allowed total money that can be owned and its sets of restrictions. Besides sovereign class, which officially will no be communicated to exist. This troubles me deeply. I wish to know how probable it is to happen to us and when. Whatever light you can shine on it, I'd appreciate.
Answer: a group of dark people or separation consciousness people have a lot of destructive plans. This is one of them. I understand that this can be very scary. Fortunately, this will not come to pass. Yes, something like this is being planned by dark people. No, they will not succeed. Neither will several other very destructive plans that they have. Unless you feel called to directly work against the plans of the dark, for example as a member of the positive military or as a truth teller or as a politician, I would advise you not to spend too much time studying the plans of the dark. After all, these plans are not going to come to pass and it will just cause unnecessary fear. Also, as I talk about in my message Hakann, about positive focus, focusing on these plans will subtly empower them. There will very likely be a financial reset, but it will be a positive one, initiated by the positive military. This reset will help to set humanity free, rather than enslave it.
Question: kindly shed some light on the relationship between dreams to our physicality. Like I had below dreams. Then a list of dreams is given.
Answer: one primary functions of dreams are to process what is happening during daytime. So for example, if you nearly get run over by a car, you might dream of death that night. In order to process the experience. This is healthy. This also means that if you feel called to keep a dream journal, it's a good idea to also write down highlights of what happened during the day. The other primary function of dreams is as a way for your subconscious and sometimes even your soul to communicate with the conscious you. For example, if you feel stuck in a rut, you might dream of death and rebirth, as a sign to make significant changes in your life. Symbols and occurrences in dreams can mean different things to different people. So if I answered what it means to you, then that may help you but would not help other people. Unfortunately, the channeler doesn't have too much energy right now and is choosing to focus on questions that a lot of people can benefit from. You may be able to answer your own questions. First of all, you can just say or think, "My soul, how should I interpret this dream?" Only answers that arise immediately come from your soul. Your soul will answer in your own inner voice, but it will come from your soul. If this doesn't work, an alternative is asking yourself, what does this mean to me? And again, the first thing that pops into your mind is the correct answer. Do not overthink this, because likely that is when you will start making mistakes. If neither of these things are possible, just try spiritually progressing for a few months and then try again. For the questioner specifically, Kriya Yoga might be beneficial. It's a challenging but direct and high reward path. I would not recommend this to every earthling light worker, but I think you'll be able to handle it.
Question: what do I need to do to move in Spaceship New Jerusalem? I'm ready.
Answer: we appreciate your enthusiasm to get to know us. We would very much like to physically meet earthlings too. Unfortunately, at the moment we need light workers physically on the planet, because your energies are what allows Earth to be liberated. If we just beamed up all the light workers, then probably within a year all of humanity would be completely enslaved. That is how important your physical presence and your energies are. From our perspective, light workers are like elite spec ops soldiers and the mission is 98% completed. If we were to pull out the spec ops soldiers at 98% mission completion, then the mission would fail and that would be a tragedy and complete waste. To be clear, the mission started a long time ago. So yes, it's 98% complete, but that does not necessarily mean that the mission will be complete next month. It might still take a few years, or possibly even decades. Even if we were to beam you up for just a day, then you would really enjoy that day, but you would also likely feel quite demotivated once you were back there on Earth. So this would not be a net benefit, from our perspective. We do empathize with how much discomfort and pain and oppression that light workers are experiencing. We are helping you in subtle ways already. And of course, we are working to free Earthlings entirely. To be clear, this is not about being worthy of being beamed up. You are worthy. It's just a matter of needing your energies down there. Even very advanced light workers are generally not beamed up by us. Thank you very much for your service. There will come a time in the future where you're very welcome on the New Jerusalem. But we do need to liberate Earth first.
Question: my question today is about the solar flash. Is it coming? If yes, how long does it affect us? Instantly or days? What impact does it leave us?
Answer: thank you for your question. This is a hot topic in the minds and subconscious minds of many light workers. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it. Is the solar flash coming? Perhaps. It depends on which choices Earthlings make. The flash will be near instant, but it will take days before most Earthlings will have more or less stabilized from the flash. It will be a flash of very high and intense energies. It will cause a wave of remembrance, and it will shake loose a lot of illusions that people currently have. For most light workers it will be intense but also blissful and joyful. For most average people, it will feel like a train hits them out of nowhere. They'll be completely destabilized and disrupted, but after a few days, they'll enter the fourth dimension and will open-mindedly start looking around for what's really going on. They will be confused, but they will not be as fearful as they are today. Hopefully light workers can help them find their footing in those days. Earthlings who are too stuck in their ways might die from getting a huge amount of intense energy. This is a large part of the reason why it hasn't happened yet. If it happened today, it would kill way too many people. Yes, on one hand souls are immortal and those souls can reincarnate elsewhere, but still we want to minimize deaths. On the positive side, if the flash happens, then very shortly afterwards Earthlings will start working together on a much more positive world. So, will the flash happen? Well, it depends on the choices that Earthlings make. Gaia and Source want Earth to become a paradise-like world, and wants Earthlings to be able to start living peaceful and blissful lives, without violating the free will of Earthlings. Us good-hearted extraterrestrials serve Source, and thus we work to accomplish what Source wants. I can promise you that in the medium term, Earthlings really will end up in a love-based society. The solar flash is one tool that Source has to help Earth and Earthlings move into a love-based society. But it's a tool that also has downsides, because it will kill people who are completely not ready for it. Will that tool be used? If the level of consciousness of Earthlings rises very quickly, then it won't be necessary and the solar flash tool won't be used, which also means that those people won't die. In this scenario, you will just move into an amazing love-based society on your own without the flash. If the level of consciousness of Earthlings rises pretty quickly but not too quickly, then it's reasonably likely that the solar flash tool will get used at a point when not too many people will die from it. I do not enjoy the thought of Earthlings dying from the solar flash, but on the other hand, I also do not enjoy the thought of Earthlings currently suffering from repression and living in pain. Note that the solar flash is just one tool out of many that Source has to help Earthlings move into a love-based world. There are also many others. Frankly, there's too many to list, and some will have to stay secret for now because we do not want negative beings to know about them. Often the channeler will ask me, is this going to happen, and if so, when? Usually I will respond with, it depends on the choices that Earthlings make. This sometimes annoys him, but frankly, it really is up to you Earthlings how exactly the coming time is going to unfold. In general, there are multiple different future timelines open, and multiple things may happen, and it's not clear when exactly what will happen. So beware of beings who give very specific predictions or who say that things absolutely will or will not happen. Usually it's only really possible to state that certain things are likely or unlikely, or that certain things will happen at some point, but it's not clear when. Although to be fair to channelers, both channelers and their audience usually just want to hear, this thing will happen by that date. So sometimes benevolent beings will say, this will happen, when in reality something is likely but not certain to happen. This does not make those beings secretly malevolent. Still, It is good to realize that any prediction that you hear about the future is simply one probable timeline, not something that's cast in stone.
Question: Hello, I have been wondering one thing for many years. After the event and once we are fully anchored in 5D on the new Earth, will our bodies, the current heavy ones, be abandoned in some way? It doesn't appeal to me that our bodies are to change so powerfully from their current state to the final effect after ascension from carbon to crystal or diamond body, as many say. The way I feel about it is that this body will somehow be abandoned, die or be dematerialized, and our entire consciousness will jump to the light body, which we are now rebuilding and which is non-physical. In conclusion, I think our body will only change to a certain extent so that all our divine aspects will be anchored in one place, but in the end we will abandon the physical body for the final change and anchor fully on the 5D Earth after the event. Is this correct? I am wondering about this because this current body is very limited. Although I love and respect it, I am also grateful that I can experience through it now. Please answer as comprehensively as possible, for this moment.
As detailed in the previous answer, Earthlings will end up in a love-based 5D society. It's quite possible that there will be the event of a solar flash that causes this, but there's also a possibility that Earthlings will end up in a love-based 5D society without a flash. Regardless, you are headed towards a love-based 5D society. For the sake of new people, 5D refers to a state of love-based consciousness. It does not refer to 5 spatial dimensions. There are a small number of people right now on your world who are in 5D. Normal people are in the consciousness of 3D. 4D is a transition phase between 3D and 5D. 4D is when you know that something is wrong on Earth and normal life seems not so appealing anymore, but you don't yet know what is true or what to do with your life. If there's the event of a solar flash, then most Earthlings will be briefly in 4D and then quickly move up to the lower to middle part of 5D. Their bodies will be healthier and their hearts will be open. Friendly ETs will land shortly after and will freely offer healing and spiritual teachings to anyone who wants it. In the lower to middle part of 5D, people will be healthier and more loving and suffer from less illusions, but they will still be physically there. Their bodies will not go anywhere. They will not be able to walk through a wall, for example. Once Earthlings develop to the upper end of 5D, they will be able to voluntarily leave their body for a time, and they can use their light body to do so-called supernatural things. However, they will still by default be in their body. You can think of a spiritually advanced Earthling in the present day. By default they're in their bodies, but they can astral travel if they wish. Earthlings have a slight misconception about light bodies. As you progress spiritually, then initially you will have an activated light body while still being in your physical body. It's only when you continue progressing that eventually you leave your physical body behind, but initially you'll have both a physical body and an activated light body. You won't really notice your light body, other than feeling more peace and love and having more access to so-called supernatural abilities. By the time beings are 7th dimension, it becomes a choice if they want to be physically incarnated or if they prefer to be immaterial. And when you move beyond 7D, being immaterial becomes the default state of being. Needless to say, it will be some time before typical Earthlings become 7D. That said, specific light workers might reach 7D relatively shortly after the event. Personally I, Hakann, am 7th dimension. And frankly I prefer to be physically incarnated most of the time. Because this physical reality is where I can touch people, where I can dance, where I can eat delicious meals, where I can interact with my children and where I can make love to the woman I love. I understand that Earthlings have a lot of negative experiences with physical bodies, but once your entire society becomes 5D, a lot of physical discomforts will be gone and a lot of physical pleasures will become available. I think that once everyone is in 5D and your galactic brothers and sisters have landed, you will very much appreciate that you are physically in a body. That said, if you have the desire to experience immateriality, feel free to ask us after we have landed and we will be happy to teach you how you can achieve that. Thank you for your excellent question. And to everyone, thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful to you. Your star brother, Hakann.